Hello, everyone. My name is Clayton Davis. I'm the Senior Awards Editor at Variety. Very nice to be with you all today. How'd you love Blitz? That Steve McQueen can make a movie, can't he? He's really good at it. Listen, hunger, shame, 12 years a slave, widows, and then sprinkled in between there is small acts in Occupied City. I don't think Steve McQueen knows how to make a bad movie. He's remarkable, and then he told us all that Saoirse Ronan can sing beautifully. Like, no idea, so I'm ready for that musical. So let's bring them out all here to have a conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, writer, director, producer, Steve McQueen. Steve, we have one of the actors from the movie, ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin Clementine. It's like the Beatles just walked out. Steve, I've been a huge fan of yours for such a long time, and I really know when I said that. Never made a movie I haven't loved, admired, and just really good at this. But I just really want to know where the inception of this idea came from, because this seems obviously very deeply personal to you. Where did this all originate?
Well, it all originated really from in 2003. I was a war artist. What happens in London, in Britain rather, is once there's a war, they send an artist off to war. It was very strange, but since the Crimean War, they've sent an artist with the troops to war. So I was in Afghanistan, I was in Iraq in 2003. And I was embedded, and I was doing tours of duty and stuff like that. And it was interesting because it was people from, Edinburgh, people from, Cardiff, Southampton, Newcastle, Sheffield, all over the UK. So all these regional accents. It's the first time I felt a sense of sort of nationalism, the first time of camaraderie in a way, a real sense of I don't know, being British in a kind of strange way. It's almost like being in a national team. But it was very strange because at the same time of being at war, there was a kind of sense of perversity about it because I was at war and I was feeling a sense of comradeship. And of course, the majority of us here in this room, we don't know about war. What we know about war is usually, what we see or hear through the information we get through the media. It's an abstract. It's a sort of it's a distance. It's a sort of narrative. Something which is making noise in the background or on the front page of the newspaper. But I was actually in a war. I was in theatres. They call it. It's a romantic word. They call it theatre. And when I was there, I thought to myself, well, this was actually happening in London in 1940. They were dropping bombs in London all over the place. So I thought to myself, well, I want to go back, and I want to go back to somewhere that I know and look at that war. So flash forward many years later, I was doing some research on a series called films I was doing called Small Act. I came across this image of this black child, this light-skinned child, obviously, a mixed-race child, but obviously, I just wanted to know his story. Who was this gentleman? Who was this little boy with a little suitcase with a cap on his head, waiting to be taken to who knows where? And I wanted to know his story. I thought that was, as soon as I saw that photograph, I thought that's my in. Seeing war through a child's eyes. That was it.
Benjamin, your role in the film, very, very touching and moving, because Steve provided you with the cutest little kid that's ever lived. Plays George, but it's also one of the many tender moments of the movie. You become a father figure to him and are able to really give some light in a very dark time. Can you talk about how you and Elliot talked about these scenes together and how you ended up bringing those moments to life?
We really didn't talk about this. Elliot is a fantastic kid who is naturally gifted. And obviously Steve knows what he's doing, he picked him up, and he's got a story about Elliot. I mean, I'm sure he wants to share it with all of us. But, do you want to do that?
You asked me the question?
No, Elliot's, you know, if there was a moment, I think I told Steve this yesterday, when, I'll say it to you instead, yeah, when we were shooting at Spitalfields, and we were standing outside, it was raining a little bit, England is like, you know, it's about rain. And so before Steve said action, Elliot was like, you know, just talking, you know, just playing around, doing all these things, and then Steve said action. I didn't hear it. And then all I heard was, Benjamin! You know, I was like, so that was my biggest mistake I ever made. But then, yeah, when from that moment I realized that, okay, so this guy, this little kid, he's like, he can just switch and just like, you know, go for it. You know, so that's what I learned from Elliot, yeah.
That's awesome. Steve, on top of writing, directing, producing, you decided to become a songwriter at the same time, and co-wrote the song Winter Coat that Saoirse Ronan sings in the movie. She sings beautifully. I can only assume that there's an album coming soon by you, right? And makes music. But tell me about writing the song, because it is quite remarkable.
You know, I wrote it with Nicholas Boutel, and what it was, the initial idea came from my father died 18 years ago, and I got left his winter coat, and I just felt that, you know, again, during the war, songs were always like, you know, tomorrow will be a better day, or you know, something's out of the street, you know, all that, you know, tomorrow, you know, we're always about something happening in the future, not too far, it's going to be better. And I thought, okay, what happens? You know, Saoirse, the actress, you know, Saoirse Ronan is playing Rita. She's singing to her factory friends. I love the idea that it's something can be tactile, something can be felt. So I thought, okay, winter's coat. So therefore, you know, it's about absence of presence. When you put on a coat of someone that's left behind, you feel their presence. In their absence, you feel their warmth. It's like a hug, it's like an embrace. And I thought that can be quite emotionally sort of connected to anybody here. I mean, anyone has a keepsake, possibly of someone who died. But that coat, I thought, was just like an embrace. I thought that could work in a very sort of, you know, tangible way. And just the touch and smell, that was it. So it was just one of those things which was very, obviously, personal to me, but I thought personal to everybody. But everyone who's lost someone has that kind of, you know, understanding of that keepsake.
It's beautiful. Hopefully you'll sing it for us before the end of the day, right? Yeah. Let's talk about Hans Zimmer, that great little composer, man. The music in the movie is remarkable. It's like a ticking time bomb of like waiting for something to happen. But you were telling me this great story backstage about you having a conversation with Hans about the music. Can you please share?
The music, the on-screen music is Nicholas Boutel. The score is Hans Zimmer. It's the same dynamic duo that did the same thing in 12 Years a Slave. I thought, well, if it's not broke, you don't fix it. So a lot of those guys back. And Hans's relationship with his mother was very, very tight. You know, he has, you know, he's very, unfortunately his mother passed. Was long ago, but anyway. Hans's mother lived in London during the Blitz. Hans's mother was evacuated from Germany. She lived in Mayfair during the Blitz. And after 5 years of war, immediately she went back to Germany. She worked in Germany as a translator for the Americans. And there she met Hans's father. And interestingly, unfortunately, when Hans was 5, unfortunately his father passed. And he was shipped off to boarding school. So he had this thing at the back in some ways. And I think that when he saw the picture without ever seeing the score, he knew immediately, instinctively, what to do with this score for his music. And it was very heartfelt, very immediate. It I sat with him shoulder to shoulder as he wrote the bloody score. It was beautiful, and again pushing him a little bit in a sense of way, but he was just in it. It was beautiful because it was coming out of it. Something which was deep inside him. I imagine he was George, his mother was his mother. There was a detachment. He wanted to come home. When George says, "I hate you," I imagine Hans understood that. So him writing the score, you can see he starts to score with recorders. This is in England. We had children learn, maybe in America too. Their first use is recorders, and actually, as we progress, actually a symphony of people playing recorders, and you see as George moves along his journey, it sort of graduates to orchestral. So there's a journey. As George is not the same child he was when he left home at the end of the picture.
I have to ask about the train scenes, because what I love so much about the movie is that it allows children to be depicted as children. They're very irresponsible, and they will do things that drive the wall. I had an anxiety attack watching the boys on the train when they got on top of the train, and it could be, war is never pretty, and we see the devastation that can happen in war. As you were writing your first draft of the script, did you know how much bloodshed, in terms of bloodshed, that the boy would see on his way, George's journey back to his mother? Did you ever try to shy away from it, or you wanted to go full on?
No, I couldn't shy away from it because it's war, and it's him sobering up to adulthood. He's seeing things. He encounters. Listen, as a black child growing up, the first thing you understand is you grow up quicker because you understand certain things around you. If you're born in the West, what you're up against. So therefore, you mature quicker because you understand that certain things are not necessarily in your favor. And that's George has that from day one. Again, as a black child growing up in the UK in the 40s. But as well as that, there's war. And again, the reason why I'm putting this film in the child's eyes is because the war's bad enough, but in the child's eyes, it's like a black piece of paper. He sees everything for the first time, but it's magnified 3 times as bad as war. It is bad. It doesn't matter how big bad it is. It's bad. But through a child's eyes, it's a point. What are we doing? What the hell? How can through a child's eyes? How does it make any sense? Even adults' eyes, how can it make any sense for anyone to kill him? So somehow, George, for me, was a vessel for us to refocus our gaze into what we are doing as adults. And again, this movie reflects a lot what's going on, unfortunately, today. With the sort of the divides and stuff and whatnot, and this person or that, the groups and so forth and whatnot. I mean, when I made this picture, obviously, unfortunately, what was going on in Somalia, Ukraine, Lebanon, Israel, Palestine wasn't going on. Ukraine, but it seems like the movie's become more urgent now because of all those things which are going on. I feel very useful as a filmmaker right now with this film.
Very useful, thank you. Benjamin, I have to ask you this. One of my favorite cinematic hugs I think I've ever seen was when Elliot says, "I am black," and you give him a hug in bed. It's like one of the sweetest moments I think I've ever seen in my life. Can you just talk about how, because I think it's not even just that he says it, it's the way, it's like the beat before you hug him, that you immediately, it was like an instinct. Can you talk about just, in a moment such as that, which really sticks out in the viewer's mind?
Well, growing up in England, I never thought that being black was a thing. I was bullied in school, but I didn't put colour to it. It's only when I turned 18 I experienced my fair share of racial stuff that I realised that hang on a minute, I'm actually quite maybe different. So that scene, it was very personal. It was, in fact, all of my dialogue and monologues were very personal, or felt personal, and so it was very natural for. In fact, Steve's the one. In fact, I would say I'll confess. Steve told me to have the boy because I think maybe I was a bit too tired or too maybe hungry. I don't know.
You're a little self-conscious.
What?
A little self-conscious, please.
I was, yeah, okay. So Steve, after I said what I had to say to the boy and I walked away, boy says, I am black, and go towards him, and I kind of, some reflections, I just start to see some pictures of my own childhood come to me, and then I go in for the hug.
I remember what I said to you. I said, hug him as if your life depended on it. And you did a great job.
Oscar for best hug goes to Steve. I have to be mad at you a little bit now because
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We all need hugs.
I have to be a little mad at you because Grandpa didn't make it in the end, and I really thought we were going to make it through this movie, and we were going to have the entire family intact, and obviously that didn't happen. Was the original version of your script always, we got to lose Grandpa?
Yes. We had to lose somebody.
It was such a bait and switch.
Well, I think, again, it's that's why Paul Weller, the artist, the musician, Paul, the grandfather is actually a musician, not an actor. He's a very famous musician in the UK for the last 50 years. He's in a band called The Jam and the Star. He's an amazing musician. And he has a kind of gravitas, and we had to lose him just because that's just life, unfortunately. I mean, we all lost people, and again, I think what's so beautiful about Paul, he put something down which was very minimal, but very heavy, very heartfelt, and he loved his grandson. And I think that loss is in part because of his very beautiful minimal performance, and you felt the great. I need someone with gravitas who could come in and you felt the weight and the weight of his love. And he pulled it off. That's why at the end it pays off in such a way.
Final question is because you are in a room full of students,
Yes.
Savannah.
Yes.
Clap if you're a SCAD student. I'm also 21 like that. But they are here because they are artists as well. Either they want to make movies, TV, or they just want to paint, want to animate. There's so many things they want to do in this field. And you two are doing it right now. You are living their dream. What piece of advice do you have for our students here that you can give them that will help them get there?
Give us something that we've never seen before. I mean, that's what I want to do. Blitz, give us something we've never seen before. Don't make what's been made before. Every single image on the screen has never been seen before. You've never seen women in a factory making a bomb, or women who were the backbone emotionally and physically of the country, putting their children, on trains to be evacuated, looking after their elderly parents. They were the backbone emotionally and physically of the country. Put them on the screen. You must understand that the reason why you haven't seen these people on the screen in a war movie because it was a choice. They were half the war effort, the women. And they would never give, when you see them in the movie, they are crying, they're a girlfriend, a wife, and giving someone a cup of tea. Why? Because it was a choice. So it's your choice to change the narrative of showing how things were, as well as how things have been shown.
Yeah.
The fact that London at that time was multicultural. It was. There was a huge Chinese community. There's a large black community. You see a Second World War movie in London, you never see that. Show us something, give us something which is there in plain sight. You know, it's just like when you see cowboy Indian movies and you realize after a while that Native Americans aren't the bad guys. It's important what you do. You know, it's important that you bring stories to the fore that haven't been seen before. Like I said, every single image in this picture, no one's ever seen before. No one. And that's just how it is. You know, unless we do it, no one's going to do it.
Come on, Benjamin, you gotta do something. Right. Hug the kid when Steve tells you to do so, anything. Can't talk that. Monster spoken. All right. First of all, thank you to Savannah Film Festival for bringing Blitz here. Thank you, Steve and Benjamin, for coming to stop by the great state of Georgia and hang out for a little bit. And thank you to everyone involved with the film festival. One more time, everyone.